Omaha's news leader, chronicling the stories and people making a difference in our community. This is KETV News Watch 7's Chronicle.
Good morning and welcome to Chronicle. I'm David Earl. Health officials across the country are scrambling for answers as the vaping epidemic escalates. Here's what we know right now. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports 805 confirmed cases of illnesses related to vaping. At least 17 people have died across the United States. In Iowa, nearly 24 people are sick and another 11 are affected in Nebraska. Last week, DHHS in Nebraska confirmed the first death related to vaping in the state. 68-year-old John Steffen was a lifelong smoker with COPD and emphysema. He took up vaping nicotine cartridges 5 years ago. In May, he went to the hospital for pneumonia and died 10 days later. Then last week, Steffen's wife Kathleen got a call from DHHS informing her that her husband's death may be linked to vaping.
And I said, well, why didn't it just look like a lifetime smoker's bad lungs? And they said, it's different. It's clearly different.
A state doctor said Steffen's lungs showed ground glass opacity. That is a condition that health experts have linked to vaping. Joining me now this morning is John's wife, Kathleen, and his daughter, Dulcia. Thank you both for being here this morning.
You're welcome.
And I'm really sorry about your loss.
Thank you.
I guess let's just start at the very beginning here. What do you want people to know about John?
Well, he was a husband, a father, a grandfather. He loved his grandchildren very, very much. He was an outdoorsman. He grew up on a farm. Mm-hmm. He loved music, singing. He whistled a lot, played the guitar. What would you like to add?
Well, Dulcia, I see you brought a shadow box here. Can you walk me through kind of, those are great memories of your dad, right?
Right. There's a little bit of everything about his life, from his track records, some of his medals, the letter that he received in high school from Cedar Catholic High School, and music notes, and some of the flowers from his funeral, coffee beans, wine corks, just kind of a summary of his life in one box. Yeah,
a very full life.
Yes.
Kathleen, you had no idea that John's death was connected to vaping until you got that call from the state.
Correct.
Can you tell me about that call? What was that like?
Well, I actually got a voicemail. Mm-hmm. We missed each other, and he said, I understand you are related to someone whose death may have been related to vaping. So when I called him back, I had to leave voicemail. Yeah. And I said, I don't think so, because he was a lifelong smoker. He had COPD, mm-hmm. and he was diagnosed with pneumonia. So I really don't think it's related to vaping. And then I learned after 30 minutes of questions, right, on his part with a few on mine, mm-hmm. Why they thought it was.
And what did they say about that? How could they tell the difference between a lifetime of smoking and then 5 years of vaping?
Well, they told me that on a CT that they could see pneumonia in just one part of his lung, which is what he had been told by his primary care, mm-hmm. When he was sent to the hospital. And they could see the emphysema, but that all the spaces in between on all of his lungs, all over, were covered with the ground glass appearance.
Sure.
And that was not what you would find in a lifelong smoker.
Yeah. Dulcia, I wonder, I mean, your dad was a lifelong smoker. And how did he feel about the vaping products? I mean, did he have this feeling that so many do, that this is a safe alternative to smoking?
Yes, he picked up vaping to try to quit smoking, years ago, and try to taper off. He couldn't quit the habit, but we all assumed that it was healthier, and that's the way it was marketed. It was a healthier alternative. There was no secondhand smoke mm-hmm. connected to it. So we assumed it was healthier than the cigarettes.
What do you know about the device he was using and the products he was using? I mean, these were vaping products that he could have gotten at the store, right?
Right. In his case, they were all nicotine. He never used any other THC or refilled items. It was always sealed, bought from big chain stores, and that's what we want people to know, is that it was the stuff that's monitored and controlled.
Yeah.
and it still caused this.
I mean, as he was vaping, right, for 5 years or so, I mean, what was your impression of the products? I mean, you guys thought that this was a safe alternative for him too, right?
Right, and as my daughter mentioned, no secondhand smoke, so
Right.
we also thought it was better for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Although there was like vapor coming out, but it didn't smell like cigarette smoke, and so we did all think it was safer for us and therefore safer for him.
Yeah. We've heard from a lot of people who are passionate in the vaping community after John's story, and they have argued that these products are not harmful, or they themselves are not feeling any of the side effects that maybe are associated with these products, at least not yet. I wonder what you would want to tell those people.
I would say that we really don't know. You may feel fine, and I know, in fact, my husband used to say when he was still smoking, well, my grandpa lived to be 80-something and smoked all his life. And yes, that happens, but yet we know cigarettes are bad. We don't know about this, and I think it's riskier in some ways to be using a product to be sucking something into your lungs and you don't know what it's doing, or if it is doing something, why or how it's doing it.
Yeah. Dulcia, what would you say?
We're only beginning to start the research into this. They just now connected Dad's death from May, but as the doctors in the state and everyone else start researching more, I think we're going to find a lot more cases, and there just needs to be more research done on what it's doing, who it's affecting.
Right. The outcomes of smoking are pretty well known.
Yes.
Right.
And I wonder if you think John would have been safer just continuing to smoke.
It's a really good question.
Yeah.
And it's crossed my mind.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with this whole thing. We don't know. And a lot of the publicity that we hear is about younger, mostly men, who use THC. He did not.
Right.
And as I've read about other cases of deaths, they tend to be older, a lot of them older men.
Yeah. And I think that's maybe the remarkable thing here is that, I mean, this happened in a case where your husband was using products bought from a store that are supposed to be the safe nicotine alternative, right?
Right.
Exactly.
No black market products or anything like
Nothing.
that we've heard about, but
Nothing.
Yeah.
No alternative fillers of any kind. And I think that's the message for anybody who is vaping and thinks it's safe, that we just don't know.
yeah. Dulcia, I wonder if you have thought about what a solution might be here. Do you want some kind of action by lawmakers? Do you want better warning labels? What do you think the solution is?
I don't think it should necessarily be banned
Yeah.
unless we can prove beyond reasonable doubt, essentially,
Sure.
that it is very, very dangerous. I think it should be controlled like alcohol and tobacco and
Yeah.
things like that, and have more warning labels. I think we just need to do more research. This is the way cigarettes started years ago. We didn't know that they could cause cancer and all of these lung problems. So we're following the same process that we did years ago with other things. And I want to see more research done and possibly healthier products created, more warnings, and just better education all around.
Especially for teenagers.
Yeah.
Yes. I have 3 teenagers, and I watch teenagers walk out of the high school without a care in the world, vaping, and I would hate for my daughter to have just lost grandpa and to end up having a friend in the hospital as well. And these kids that don't know as much, they think it's cool.
Yeah.
And
What's that conversation been like? I mean, when you have that conversation with your kids, what do you talk about?
that it's nicotine, it's addictive, and now with all of the recent outbreaks and everything, it's not as safe, and just stay away from it. And my kids have been talking to their friends and encouraging them to stop as well, and helping share our story as well.
All right. Well, Dulcia, Kathleen, thank you for being here this morning on this very important topic and sharing John's story.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Well, still ahead, new changes in vaping legislation across America. We'll have more on what lawmakers say they hope to change. Plus, a local doctor weighs in on the impacts of vaping. You're watching KETV News Watch 7's Chronicle.